Tonight, getting ready for big road work.
Several major corridors will see improvements this year.
Where the region is about to start some major projects. And the plea from some community leaders.
Please be mindful of, those particular months.
About timelines. No more escape from the cold.
We're standing here in April 7th. It's really cold outside.
Overwhelming shelter and warming center demand.
The overflow warming centers were already overflowing.
Following a brutal winter. Plus, showcasing their skills.
I mean, I'm having fun. I like building things.
Teams of students working together today.
Have good creativity, work together well, and complete the challenge.
To build something bigger.
The whole point of this is for students to be able to transfer their skills. They'll have these skills for life.
For tomorrow.
Good evening. Winter may be trying to hold on, but another unofficial season is just around the corner. The region's list of major road construction projects for the year is on the table. CTV's Colton Weens is live now along Sports World Drive in Kitchener. Colton, that's just one very busy regional road where crews are about to get things started.
Yeah, Tony, this is just one of the projects in a whole list of expected projects this road construction season, I guess we'll call it. It's spring to fall, but road construction season is what we'll call it. And Sports World Drive is expected to get started around the springtime, so any day now, and go until the fall. But the region says this road reconstruction and road work across the communities is important. They understand that it's a headache, but it's important to keep us all moving.
Nobody really enjoys construction season unless you work in construction, so I think communication is key.
Regional councillors discussing the incoming road construction season with a long list of projects set to rip up local roads.
This year's program is focused first on maintenance of the infrastructure that our community relies on every day.
The region says about 60% of the planned work is reconstruction.
Several major corridors will see improvements this year.
To name a few, in Kitchener, Victoria Street from Fisher-Holman to Lawrence, which will be fully closed from this summer to fall of next year. A section of Sports World Drive will also be reconstructed from this spring until the fall, with lane closures expected. And Lancaster Street between Union and Elizabeth will have lane closures this summer and fall, with cycling tracks, a new water main, and sanitary and storm sewers on that project list. Those plans, just a few of more than 30 projects planned this year, which also include bridge replacements, new roundabouts, transit stations, and multi-use paths. And while it is an extensive list of roads set for reconstruction this season, there are some roads that didn't necessarily make the cut. The mayor of Wellesley saying he would have liked to see Queensbush Road here repaved this season.
I thought it would be wiser to do the complete reshaving this year. It would probably be a little bit more cost effective to do it that way as opposed to doing the patching throughout.
And asking his colleagues to carefully consider the timeline for fixing the pothole-filled road.
I wanted to point out that next year is going to be a big year for Wellesley Township. It's our 175th anniversary. June is going to be a big month. There'll be some significant events happening in June and then in the fall as well as September. So I'm, if we can't talk you into rethinking this reconstruction for this year, then please be mindful of those particular months next year.
What we're going to try to do is to advance the design this year. I know there's some geotechnical work that's also required, so that's the work that we're going to do this summer to be ready for the construction season next year.
So there's over $200 million worth of projects planned across the region this construction season. The Sports World Drive project alone is $32 million. Now, the region will have updates online as well. The municipalities have updates for all their projects online, and the region has a texting service for some of its projects to keep residents updated. So buckle up again for another road construction season just around the corner. Tony.
Yep, it'll be a lot to navigate. Okay, Colton, thanks so much. CTV's Colton Weens live along Sports World Drive in Kitchener. And time for a first look at the forecast now. Let's head over to Ashley Bacon here in studio with the latest. Well, in Colton's live shot out there, lots of sunshine. That's something that improved as the day went on. We certainly didn't start out that way with that snow this morning.
It was a little bit of a sticker shock kind of moment this morning, I think, for a lot of folks, myself included. If you were up early enough, there was a little layer of snow on the ground, Tony. But as you said, the sun came out around noon, and it evaporated most of that snow, so not too bad. And the good news is for our viewers at home, we're not looking at much precipitation in the next 24 hours. Let's take a look at our radar. That really helps paint a picture. There is not a lot going on, even in regards to cloud cover. So we have a clear night ahead of us, and we're looking at a clear Wednesday as well. So great news there. Right now, we are feeling still quite cold, -1, a light wind, a westerly wind at 17 kilometers an hour. So it is still quite chilly out there, feeling closer to -6 with the wind chill, so well below seasonal, Tony. But the good news is we are expecting temperatures to make a bit of a rebound tomorrow to where we should be, and then by the end of the week it might even be above seasonal.
Aha, it gets better. Thanks, Ash, appreciate that. Well, the calendar may say spring, but as we were just discussing, the weather still feels very much like winter. And that's a conversation that's being had about the region's emergency overnight warming centers, because they closed at the end of March, and that means a very cold night outside lately for many who are homeless. CTV's Jeff Pickle joining us now with more on this. And Jeff, you had a chance to speak with the operators of the warming centers today. What did they have to tell you?
Well, Tony, they opened on November 1st and say pretty much from the first night through the next 5 months, they were at capacity or well over capacity. So they need much more space, and they say they need to stay open longer.
It was a long, cold, snowy winter. With more people needing a warm place to spend the night, the region opened 2 emergency overnight warming centers.
So if you picture just, in a church gym basement with, camping mats and blankets and some, a place for people to come in, get warm.
From night 1, staff in Cambridge say the 30 spaces were full.
We said we had a capacity of 30. We would see between 45 and 55 men every night. Some nights we got up to 58. That was our highest, so nearly double capacity.
A similar story in Kitchener, where the warming center on Lawrence had so much overflow, the St. John's Soup Kitchen pivoted to stay open all night.
The overflow warming centers were already overflowing, and we knew that there was at least 100 people who needed help. And if we look at the actual number, it's closer to 200.
Without funding from the region, St. John's Kitchen relied entirely on community donations to keep hundreds out of the cold.
An overnight warming center does have to be staffed. We were able to do that by having a call out to the community. It was all funded through donations. We had volunteers on site every day, every night. And basically, community donations made it possible to ensure that 100 to 130 people every night were getting shelter.
Along with space for more people.
We would have loved to have extended it. We certainly see the need. Even in April, we had, a couple of nice days recently, and then we had snow.
Operators say they should remain open beyond the end of March.
We're standing here in April 7th. It's really cold outside, so we know that early April is it's still as cold, and it only warms up later in the month.
Now, in a statement, the region says in the coming months they will work with their partners to figure out a plan for next year's winter season. And they say next winter they will open a 20-bed women's overnight warming space to help address the gap in the system. Tony?
All right, Jeff, appreciate that. Thank you. CTV's Jeff Pickle reporting. Police in Huron County say a student suffered life-threatening injuries at a high school this morning. According to police, emergency responders were called to F.E. Medill Secondary School at around 8:30 a.m. A student was on fire, found in a school hallway, and airlifted to a trauma center. Police have not said what set the student on fire in the first place.
Yeah, it was an individual. Unfortunately, they suffered life-threatening injuries. They are in stable condition, but still critical, and they were airlifted by Orange EMS to a trauma center.
The school will be closed for the rest of the week and possibly longer for repairs. Online learning will begin tomorrow. A car ended up on the lawn of a home after a crash with a bus in Oshawa. It happened just before midnight near Gibbons and Bond Street. The car ended up on the lawn of a nearby home following the crash. The cause is still under investigation. So far, there's been no word on whether charges will be filed. An ominous threat hangs over Iran tonight. U.S. President Donald Trump has given the country until 8 p.m. Eastern to reopen the Strait of Hormuz or else. In a social media post, Trump warned a whole civilization will die tonight if Iran doesn't act. CTV's Joy Malvin reports from Washington.
The U.S. and Israel launching new strikes hitting military targets on Karg Island, though no oil facilities were hit, hoping to pressure Tehran to open the Strait of Hormuz, that critical shipping route held hostage by Iran. President Donald Trump posting another ultimatum to make a deal or else. A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. Ramping up his rhetoric, raising the stakes, and threatening to blow up everything.
After that, they're going to have no bridges, they're going to have no power plants. Stone Ages, yeah.
Striking civilian targets considered a war crime under the Geneva Convention, putting the U.S. military in a moral dilemma.
It is vile on every level. It begins with a promise to use the U.S. military, our military. Those people who are in direct contact with the president need to say, no, I'll resign. I'll do whatever I can do legally to stop this.
Iran is defiant, instructing civilians to become human shields, surrounding power plants and bridges to deter Trump, while striking targets in Israel and hitting the Gulf states. Qatar now warning this war could spiral out of control.
There are no winners in the continuation of this war. There are only losers.
Iran rejected a temporary ceasefire, slamming the president's threats as rude and delusional, and won't open the door to dialogue. The U.S. vice president saying just the opposite.
There's going to be a lot of negotiation between now and then, and I'm hopeful that it gets to a good resolution.
Pakistan's prime minister tweeting that there has been progress in diplomatic talks, and he's urging President Trump to extend his deadline and asking Iran to open the strait for 2 weeks as a sign of goodwill. Joy Malvin, CTV News, Washington.
The economic effect of the Iran war is painful, with the biggest oil supply disruption on record. We're seeing a spike in gasoline prices. Chip and fertilizer supplies are threatened. Pharma shipments are stalled. CTV's Heather Wright has more on the cascading impact of the war and how bad it could get for Canadians.
English cheddars, French bries, provolone from Quebec. Good Cheese in downtown Toronto stocks products from around the world and is among the many grappling with the impacts of international events.
The first thing that you're going to notice is the price of shipping is going up. So that's definitely we're feeling the pinch on that.
Not only are shipping costs up, owner Luke Champion says so too are the prices of many cheeses he sells for both international and domestic suppliers. Champion is absorbing as much as he can, but worries about the unknown.
We're feeling it a little bit, but we're concerned about what's to come.
Businesses, households, grocers, and airlines are all feeling the impact of the war in Iran, now in its 6th week. The average price of regular gas in Canada is up 51 cents a litre since February 28th. Diesel has climbed an average of 74 cents a litre, while jet fuel has surged $1.05 a litre. And many companies have already begun passing these prices along to the consumer. Air Canada Vacations has started implementing a $50 per passenger fee on some destinations, while WestJet will add a $60 fuel surcharge to all bookings made using vouchers from its MasterCard loyalty program. While Amazon will charge sellers a 3.5% fuel surcharge on deliveries beginning April 17th.
Energy, oil is embedded in everything that we have in the modern economy.
Andre Sura is an operations management professor at the University of Toronto and predicts high prices will be here for many months. even if the war ends soon.
I would say that the only certainty that we have is that it's going to take a long time until the prices, they really stabilize.
While inflation eased in February, experts are expecting a significant increase to the March numbers and say the longer this war lasts, the harder it is going to be for consumers. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Canadian Jeremy Hansen and his Artemis 2 crewmates are heading home. Their Orion spacecraft exited the lunar sphere of influence this afternoon, leaving the moon's gravitational pull behind. The astronauts were awoken at 11:35 this morning when Mission Control played Tokyo Drifting by Denzel Curry and Glass Animals. First up for the crew, sending back spectacular photos they took during their historic 7-hour journey around the far side of the moon last night. The astronauts took thousands of images, including one showing a lunar eclipse. They enjoyed views of the moon's surface previously unseen by human eyes, coming to within just 4,067 miles of the moon. And they reached an estimated 252,756 miles from Earth. That breaks Apollo 13's record for the farthest that humans have ever traveled into space.
We were so busy with the science, and we have such faith in our vehicle integrity, such faith in mission control, that we were just at complete peace and just doing our job, and just trying to do a good job to collect as much science data as we could while we were on the far side of the moon, and we were just giddy in here.
The crew also spoke today with astronauts aboard the International Space Station, all of them discussing their experiences in space. It was the first such moonship to spaceship radio link-up ever. Well, coming up, a major summertime attraction, cracking down on trouble with teens. Just ahead, the age policy that Canada's Wonderland is making permanent.
I'm Krista Simpson with new details on a murder investigation in Brantford. Charges have been laid in an Easter Sunday shooting. What police are now saying about the victim? That story is just ahead.
Well, it might not be as clear as the Artemis photos we just saw, but the skies will be clear tonight. So if you want to head out and check out that moon, it's the night to do so. Just make sure you bundle up. How long will this cold snap last? That with your full weather forecast coming up. Stay with us.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVKitchener.ca, your home for news.
An update tonight on a fatal shooting in Brantford on Easter Sunday. A man has now been charged with second-degree murder, and police are describing the victim as a good Samaritan who was trying to help when he was killed. CTV's Krista Simpson live now with new details about the investigation that were just shared by police today. Krista.
Well, Tony, this happened on a road in the area of Erie Avenue and Gladstone Avenue, a residential neighborhood in the city's south end. A 38-year-old man from Brantford was fatally shot. Police now say that he was intervening in a fight when he was killed. The K-9 unit was brought in to help with the search, and officers quickly found a man hiding in the backyard of a nearby home. He was arrested, and the firearm believed to be the murder weapon was recovered. A 35-year-old man from Brantford has now been charged with second-degree murder, as well as charges related to possessing a prohibited firearm and breach of probation. The accused was held for a bail hearing. Police say at this time they are not looking for anyone else in this murder investigation. Tony.
Okay, Krista, thank you. Krista Simpson with new reporting on that homicide investigation in Brantford. Canada's Wonderland is making its chaperone policy for younger guests permanent. All guests who are 15 years old or younger will have to be accompanied by an adult older than 21 in order to be admitted or remain in the park after 4 p.m. each day. One chaperone cannot have more than 10 guests. Wonderland implemented a similar policy back in September because of what it described as unruly and inappropriate behavior by younger visitors. The new policy will be in effect for the entire 2026 season, which officially begins on May 3rd. Now to a significant shift in regional transportation patterns. New data shows the Blue Water Bridge in Sarnia has overtaken Windsor's Ambassador Bridge as the busiest border crossing in the country. CTV's Sean Irvin has more on the economic factors driving this change.
The Blue Water Bridge border crossing at Point Edward is now the favored Canada-U.S. crossing for commercial truck traffic. Figures from the Bridge and Tunnel Association show more than 2.1 million trucks passed over the dual-span bridge in 2025. That compares with 1.8 million at the Ambassador Bridge. It appears the reason for the switch has little to do with changing patterns. It's about the money. Per axle fees set between 5 and 7 on the Blue Water Bridge are up to 4 times less than those charged in Windsor. Those cost savings were noted by hauling firms forced to travel the 402 during the 2022 blockades of the Ambassador Bridge.
We've heard it from trucking companies that how much they were saving every week. So they just kept that route going. And that's kind of how it started to build.
The mayor of nearby Sarnia agrees.
It's a commercial opportunity. That's why they're coming to the Blue Water Bridge in Sarnia Point Edward.
Both mayors contend that the buildup of trucks and trailers is good news for the economy. On the other hand, the news is less favorable for Sarnia and Point Edward residents. Frequent long backups of trucks along the 402 and attempts by a few drivers to cut through town to avoid them poses safety concerns.
There's a lack of respect by some truckers towards the people that live in this community and the others who are in passenger vehicles trying to get to the U.S. And that's been an ongoing issue.
Bradley has long proposed that a staging area for trucks be created outside of Sarnia to ease congestion and improve safety. In the meantime, enforcement has helped.
If they're caught cutting the line or doing something improperly, when they get to the booth, they're turned back to the end of the line and given a ticket.
Both mayors don't expect truck traffic to slow unless fees in Windsor drop, including those proposed for the new Gordie Howe International Bridge.
I can't understand the disparity and when it's impacting them that way.
Sean Irvin, CTV News.
Today is National Caregiver Day. In Ontario alone, 4.2 million people provide care to a family member, partner, friend, or neighbor, with that number expected to climb to 6.5 million by 2030.
My dad had a couple little strokes the end of 2023. He died August 1st of 2024. And in that kind of 8-10 months, I was amazed at how challenging the caregiving experience is. And I was secondary. My mom, who, by the way, is a retired nurse. So we've got a medical professional, we have somebody who's very, very capable, and then me coming in to kind of, you know, I don't know, what's the baseball term? Pinch hit?
Yeah, that's a good term. Yeah.
And I still found it really challenging.
Last year, 1.9 million emergency room visits were related to a caregiver need. In addition to the mental strain, being a caregiver can take a toll financially, with people paying hundreds of dollars out of pocket per month. All right, live look outside now from our photographer Dave Pettit's camera. Sports World Drive area in Kitchener. A little bit of a light breeze out there right now, gusting to about 15 kilometers an hour, and it's -1. Not something we'd normally be saying at this time in April, but Ashley's going to be back to tell us about how the temperatures are going to be going up as the week goes on in just a few moments. Also ahead, some small changes for a chance at winning those big prizes. The nationwide Lotto Max game is changing. And next, we are 6 days away from some federal by-elections. What's at stake beyond the numbers that could give the Carney Liberals a majority government? All right, Ashley's back with our look at the forecast. I had at least 3 messages from people before I looked out my window this morning that said, "What is with this weather?"
Well, they obviously didn't watch the program yesterday, Tony, because the warning was there.
Ashley told us what would be up with the weather.
Look.
Rude awakening, nonetheless, on the 7th of April.
And I do need to remind some people that the snowfall season doesn't end until April 30th.
This is true.
We're still technically doing what we should be doing.
Well,
however, it is a little colder than we'd like.
We're within the window of possibility, aren't we?
In the window, but I think we're all itching a little bit for spring. But we've had it pretty good compared to our neighbors in the north, up near Sudbury, Timmins. They've seen a lot of snow in the last few weeks.
And what we haven't seen yet is something we typically see by April 7th, which, you know, first we get false spring, then we get false patio season.
Yes, no, we haven't had that.
Before we get false summer.
Let's take a look outside and check out this false winter, as we would call it, Tychus. That sun is a little bit deceiving. I know we've said that a few times on the program, but it truly is. It does look like it's supposed to be warmer than it is, but I went out for a little walk at my lunch break, and it's still quite chilly out there. The good news is some temperatures are going to be better tomorrow and then a little bit worse for wear on Friday, but overall improvements. Let's take a look at our futurecast. Lots of clear skies. That's going to continue throughout the night and into tomorrow, as I mentioned during that break there. If you want to get out, tonight is the night to do it for stargazing because the skies are meant to be clear. We're going to see some sunny conditions for your Wednesday, and even into Thursday we'll have clear skies, maybe a little bit of cloud cover through the overnight hours. By Thursday, though, we will start to see some precipitation move back into the mix. As we look to what's happening across the country, 9 degrees in Vancouver, 10 in Victoria. On the other side of the Rockies, Edmonton seeing a mix of snow and rain and 1 degree. As we go across the prairie provinces, it's 11 in Regina, 0 in Winnipeg. And then as we move further east towards our nation's capital, -2 in Ottawa with a bit of sunshine. Definitely cooler temperatures across the board in southwestern Ontario today, even compared to what we saw yesterday. -2 in St. John's, -7 in Corner Brook, so quite cool over on the east coast. Here in Waterloo Region, we're sitting at -1, so definitely cooler than we would normally feel for this time of year. -6 with the wind chill, so it's definitely gloves, hat, maybe even a scarf kind of weather tonight. Temperatures will continue to decline overnight. -7 is the expected low, feeling closer to -12. A light wind at 15 kilometers an hour, so it won't be too windy out there. Good news is tomorrow temperatures are going to come back to where they should be for this time of year, 9 degrees and mainly sunny conditions. So not too bad. As we take a look at our almanac, just going to point out our normals for this time of year. 9. So tomorrow we'll be back to where we should be, and -1 overnight. So those overnight temperatures slowly rising to that freezing mark, not quite there yet. Good news though, sun setting at 7:55 p.m. So 5 minutes away from an 8 o'clock finish, which is not too bad. Taking a look at our 7-day forecast starting in Waterloo Region. By Thursday, temperatures really bounce back to 17 degrees. A mixture of showers is expected. 5, though, on Friday. So temperatures coming back down to normal for where they should be for the end of the work week, and overnight -3. So we might see some rain converting into flurries through the overnight hours. By Saturday, though, 12 degrees and sunny. So it's shaping up to be a beautiful weekend ahead. In Lambton, Kent, Essex, 13 and mainly sunny conditions for your Wednesday. Slight chance for showers on Thursday, but 20 degrees the expected daytime high. Back down to 10 on Friday and sunny and 12 for your Saturday. And lastly, in southern Georgian Bay, you might see a little bit more cloud in the afternoon, high of 5 degrees, 13 in showers by Thursday, and a mix of snow and rain for your Friday. So overall conditions definitely warming up, but not quite, I think, what people are hoping for just yet out of spring. Okay, let's take a look at today's Weather Watcher picture sent in from Bruce in Guelph, showcasing a tale of 2 seasons. Of course, it snowed a little bit this morning around the region, but these snowdrops are holding onto spring. Tony.
Is that what those are called? Snowdrops?
According to Bruce, they are.
Okay.
So, I'm going with what Bruce said.
I was looking over to see if Alan was nodding. Yeah, Alan is nodding.
Okay.
Alan, off camera here, who you've often heard us talk about. He's our floor director. He's many things,
yes,
but he's a green thumb, to be sure.
Yes, and you know, I think that is a great picture to really represent what today felt like.
Absolutely does.
So thank you for sending that in, Bruce.
Got a bit of everything.
A little bit.
Thanks, Ash.
Thank you.
Almost 38,000 people turned out over the long weekend for the advance polls in 3 federal by-elections. Now, the main voting day is coming up on Monday, and the results could give the Carney Liberals a majority government, but they could also set a new tone within Parliament. CTV's Abigail Beeman explains.
A closely watched race in Terrebonne, Quebec, previously won by just one vote. And 2 in Toronto expected to stay Liberal red. Right now in Parliament, the minority Liberals hold 170 seats, the Conservatives 141. With 343 seats total, 2 by-election wins would officially get the Liberals a majority at 172.
The reality is it's actually a lot more complicated than that.
Political science professor Alex Marlin points to a number of factors. The Speaker, currently a Liberal, doesn't vote except in a tie. And in a tight majority, you need to make sure no one misses a vote. While the makeup of parliamentary committees doesn't suddenly change, not currently controlled by Liberals, so government business won't suddenly speed up.
Just because you happen to have a razor-thin majority, slightly more than half of the seats in the legislature, doesn't magically change an awful lot, other than in the narrative. The narrative for Mark Carney would become very, very positive, and by extension, it would be negative for Pierre Poilievre.
It would mean higher food prices, higher taxes, a ballooning deficit, which Mr. Carney has already doubled. It would mean that he could continue to block resource projects and give us the only shrinking economy in the G7.
That's why the 3rd by-election in Terrebonne could make a difference, a tight fight between the Liberals and the Bloc. Add 4 floor crossers this session and questions about the future of a Trudeau cabinet minister, and you see why each seat matters. While the Prime Minister was clear, even with a majority, he wouldn't prorogue Parliament, launching a reset.
Absolutely not. It has never even entered my thinking.
There are more questions still about what could change the course of Parliament and government business. How the Prime Minister plans to fill growing Senate vacancies is one of them.
CTV's Abigail Beeman reporting. And questions tonight about conflict of interest in the federal cabinet. The partner of Finance Minister François-Philippe Champagne is involved with a high-speed rail project proposal, a project that some Canadians oppose. Here's CTV's Judy Trin.
The office of François-Philippe Champagne says the federal government's past decision to fund Alto, a Crown corporation developing a high-speed train line, happened before he was appointed finance minister.
The largest infrastructure project in Canadian history.
More than a year ago, former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced that $3.9 billion would be invested in Alto. Champagne became finance minister a month later in March 2025. His partner, Anne-Marie Godet, seen here walking beside him, was hired by Alto in August. Champagne says in September, 10 days after Godet was hired, he proactively reported to the Ethics Commissioner and the Prime Minister his personal connection to Godet to safeguard against any real or perceived conflict of interest. The man who appointed Champagne says no rules were broken and that it's important for cabinet spouses to be able to earn a living.
The Minister of Finance, has followed those rules and regulations in notification of the Ethics Commissioner, in recusing himself. This is a good situation because we have a partner who can pursue her career, the Minister of Finance who can do his responsibilities.
No new money was allocated in the budget that Champagne delivered, but he did announce that a faster timeline would be used to approve high-speed rail. The Conservatives are calling for the federal ethics watchdog to investigate the minister.
The legislation that benefits Alto was included in the finance minister's budget, and nothing ends up in the budget that the finance minister hasn't put eyes on or hasn't contributed to.
Champagne says he will not participate in votes or discussions pertaining to Alto and that he's delegated fellow cabinet member Wayne Long from New Brunswick to participate in his place. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Calling out the timing of a tax break. Just ahead on CTV News, the HST cut on new home sales leaves some recent buyers feeling a little burned. A government initiative slashed the tax on new home sales, in some cases saving buyers upwards of $100,000. Now some are speaking out, saying it's not fair to those who just signed deals days or weeks ahead of the April 1st start. CTV's Tyler Fleming reports.
just a very tough pill to swallow. It's given me a lot of sleepless nights.
Back in February, Jalil Abu Ali and his partner Whitney put a deposit on a new construction house.
A modest 3-bedroom home in Embrum. It was still a lot of money for us.
The couple was happy until late March, when the federal and provincial governments announced a plan to eliminate HST on new homes starting April 1st. That's a 13% rebate on houses up to $1 million.
My neighbor could close the same week, and they, I'm just typing hypothetical numbers, but they could have a home of the exact same style property for, let's say, $80,000 less.
The Ontario Home Builders Association says the program, designed to spur construction and affordability, is already working, with more people choosing to make a move.
And there's that whole trickle-down effect. The family moves up into a larger home because their family's grown, their incomes have grown. Then that leaves wherever they're leaving, whether it be rental or resale, open for somebody else.
The resale market and the new build market have always been closely intertwined, yet very different.
While this year's housing market has been slow to start, experts say it's too soon to know if the HST rebate will affect resale pricing.
Keep your eyes on the horizon. Real estate is always a long-term game, and your home will go up in value, and it's not meant to be a short-term plan.
It's disheartening because, this is my livelihood.
Abu Ali says he's reached out to the government and wants others in his position to do the same, in the hopes of nailing down a solution. In a statement to CTV News, the provincial government reiterated the plan to help homebuyers, but did not address his concerns.
It may not mean anything to them, but for myself, for my family, this is a lot of money to be missing out on.
CTV's Tyler Fleming with that report from Ottawa. And time to update our top stories. Leanne Evans joining us in studio with the latest. We're learning more about the region's list of major road construction projects. It is that time.
It is that time of year, Tony, and more than 30 projects are planned for this year. About 60% of that work will be road reconstruction projects. Some will include bridge replacements, new roundabouts, transit stations, and multi-use paths, with some roads expected to be closed through the fall. Altogether, the region has almost $200 million worth of work planned this year. The region's emergency overnight warming centers closed at the end of March after being open since November. Officials say since the first night they were at or over capacity and believe they need to stay open longer. The region says next winter they will open a 20-bed women's overnight warming space to help address the gap in the system.
Leanne, online tonight, details on an extension to a community drug alert.
And it comes after another death in Waterloo Region is being linked to a potential drug-related poisoning. There were 45 suspected drug overdoses in the region between April 3rd and 6th. For more information on this community drug alert, you can go to our website by scanning the QR code, downloading the CTV News app, or going to ctvnewskitchener.ca. Tony.
All right, Leanne Evans with our top stories. Leanne, thank you.
Thank you.
Maple syrup season has gotten off to a sluggish start, with some smaller producers saying they are behind schedule. CTV's Maria Saru has more on what's behind the slow flow of sap and what it could mean for overall supply.
Inside the Hazel Grove Sugar Shack, owner Greg Beamish opens a tap to a thin amber trickle. The evaporator is quiet. No sap coming in means no boil today. He says so far this is his worst season since starting this small operation more than a decade ago.
I'm noticeably further behind than I normally am. It'll be the first year in 12 years I have such little sap.
By now he should have about 10,000 liters of sap boiled off. Instead he's at under 3,500, putting production at about 1/3 of where it would usually be.
If I stay where I'm at, yeah, it'll be a poor year. It'll hurt my pocketbook in the long run.
Maple sap runs best when nights freeze and days thaw. But this spring has stayed too cold in some parts of the country, stifling the flow. In Quebec, producers recently reported running about 30% behind last year's pace. And it's what makers across the Maritimes are dealing with too, says the New Brunswick Maple Syrup Association.
If you did plan some investment to change equipment or whatever, you will need to wait another year.
For now, Beamish closes the lid and waits on a warmer stretch. There's still time for the season to turn, and he's hopeful. But each passing day leaves less room to catch up.
If production doesn't ramp up by the end of April, Beamish says he could run out of maple syrup to sell before Christmas. Maria Through, CTV News, Rustico, Prince Edward Island.
If you buy lottery tickets, you will soon see changes to the Lotto Max game. Beginning Friday, ticket prices are rising from $5 to $6, but each one comes with 4 lines instead of 3. Players will also choose their 7 numbers from 52 rather than 50. The changes are expected to result in slightly higher returns, but the shift to a bigger pool of numbers means each individual player becomes less likely to win. Maximum jackpots are also increasing to $90 million, up from the current $80 million cap. I'm sure we will still have some office lottery pools from time to time. Well, later on CTV News, from robotics to video and engineering, teams of students put their skills to the test at a big competition. CTV's Spencer Turcott shows us what they've come up with. Some international headlines are raising eyebrows in Newfoundland and Labrador. Both People magazine and the BBC described the province as a freezing Canadian island. Granted, it's been a cold winter, but those comments aren't sitting right with residents. CTV's Garrett Berry reports.
A story of heroism the likes the world has never seen.
A headline so worthy of parody, Keith Muse says he just couldn't leave it alone.
That was stranded on a lifeless, frozen tundra island.
When the BBC and People magazine wrote of one flight's air travel nightmares, they called Newfoundland a freezing Canadian island.
In a city of mere hundreds of thousands, 200,000.
That description didn't quite sit just right with some people in this province who are kind of famous for bringing people in when flights are grounded. The musical Come From Away about the grounded flights after the 9/11 attacks helped catapult central Newfoundland to Broadway fame.
I just don't want to hear anybody badmouth in Newfoundland. You know, you don't get stranded here. You can't get stranded in the best province in the country, as far as I'm concerned.
The British Airways flight from London was grounded for 2 days in St. John's, first for a medical emergency and then for what staff called a temporary technical issue. All the while, they didn't have access to their bags.
We are used to this, and the staff are used to getting called in the middle of the night to come and help, and they're very dedicated.
Heather McKinnon and her team at the Delta Hotel took in most of those passengers during their delay. She says hotel staff made extra runs to Shoppers or Walmart to help passengers while their bags were stuck on board.
Some were traveling for funerals, some were traveling for weddings, so that was a little frustrating, but they kept in good humor.
But that headline, the freezing Canadian island, it caught the attention of this province's tourism minister, who wrote to People magazine today, complaining the headline diminished Newfoundland and Labrador. Garrett Berry, CTV News, St. John's.
Nicely done, Garrett. I'm glad we had him on that story because, Ashley, you know what? One horrible winter does not a province make.
No, and you know what, Tony? I've had the pleasure of going to Newfoundland, and I can tell you what, it is amazing. If you get the chance to go, go. Now, what I will say about here, Waterloo Region, tomorrow's going to feel a little bit more spring-like. It's going to be cold in the morning, though. Maybe not quite as cold as they were implying St. John's is. I'll have those details coming up. Stay with us. Your Tuesday night lineup starts with Best Medicine at 7, followed by Will Trent, High Potential at 9, and cap your night off with RJ Decker at 10.
Okay, let's join Krista Simpson now for a look at what's coming up on our late news at 11:30. Krista.
Tony, a regional committee has approved the next step in creating an important link in the Guelph-Godrich Trail. That's a pedestrian bridge over the Conestoga River in Wallenstein. It's a project with an estimated cost of more than $8 million. We'll have more on what's being planned and what's next in the process at 11:30. Tony.
I mean, a lot of people looking forward to that. Okay, Krista, thank you. Krista Simpson will be here at 11:30, and boy, oh boy, it is bridge building season. It's road reconstruction season. roundabouts, sidewalks, trails.
It must mean spring, right?
It must mean that eventually we're going to get to enjoy all this.
Yeah. Believe it or not, things are thawing out, and tomorrow is no exception. It is going to be a little bit nice in the afternoon, but we are going to wake up to cooler temperatures. So if you're up early and out early, you're going to need to wear layers tomorrow. -7 to start your day, feeling closer to -14 with the wind chill, -2 by 10 a.m. Really not going to hit our peak daytime high tomorrow, Tony, until really late in the afternoon. So you're going to want layers.
We're getting above freezing,
yes,
which is nice. That's the, that's the way we want to be trending this week. Well, finally for us tonight, more than 1,000 Guelph area elementary students put their skills to the test today. It's part of an annual competition focused on innovation, creativity, and problem solving.
And as CTV's Spencer Turcotte tells us, everyone involved hopes the skills learned will last a lifetime.
It may be a small saw, but it's being used to bring big ideas to life.
Supposedly a wind turbine.
These young Upper Grand District School Board students are in the middle of the annual elementary skills competition at the University of Guelph.
Well, this year we have 65 elementary schools represented with probably over 1,000 kids this year.
In small teams, students compete in hands-on skills-based challenges.
The successful team goes on to the provincial competition in Toronto in May.
From Lego robotics to construction, tech design, and green energy. While it is a competition, the hope is that students have these skills for life, regardless of how they're used.
My mom is an engineer, so I would like to be one just like her. I mean, I'm having fun. I like building things. Would you want a pulley system?
Some teams are having to get creative with certain challenges.
Just trying to get the second bridge to go up, because we only get to use one motor. It's difficult to try to get them both to go.
While a panel of judges decides which teams ranging from grades 4 to 8 move on to provincials, some students are judging themselves using a different set of criteria.
Have good creativity, work together well, and complete the challenge.
And this group of grade 8 students from Arthur Public School have proven they are working well together after running into an early roadblock.
We put our motor on backwards and we don't want to fix it. So we just kind of put it on the map backwards.
They must code a robot to run a specific route mapped out on the floor.
Well, on our computer we have like a whole bunch of different codes for different things. We're trying to make it go follow this black, like the thick black line.
Nonprofit Royal City Community Robotics was at the competition to tell kids about opportunities outside the classroom.
So I wanted something continuous, and finding that there were all these engineers that would really teach my kids skills that really matter in this, like, particularly AI future-forward environment. We want to make robotics as accessible as ice hockey.
Meaning more students can go pro in future careers thanks to the skills learned during these showcases. Spencer Turcotte, CTV News, Guelph.
So much talent.
I was just thinking, Tony, when we were that age, how far things have come along.
I mean, for me, it was a Bristol board display on acid rain. Do you remember that?
I did a tornado shoebox.
There you go.
So yes, I do remember that. Incredible for these kids.
Amazing talent. We'll see you. Have a good night.